Good afternoon. I'm Catherine Cruz.
And I'm Ralph Esteban, and our co-authors are Ms. Jessi Ming, Mr. Imperial, Dr. Liberty Patiu, and Dr. Tomas Tew. And we'll be presenting our paper entitled Total Factor Productivity of Selected Philippine and Malaysian Commercial Banks using MalmquistDEA.
So, the study aimed to explore the total factor productivity of the top 10 commercial banks in the Philippines and in Malaysia during the years 2011 to 2018. The assessment was done by pairing the Malmquist Productivity Index, which is a measure of productivity change between two or more economies, with the Data Development Analysis or DEA. DEA is a non-parametric measure in the estimation of the efficiency frontiers using the five indices of efficiency, which are namely the total factor productivity or the overall efficiency of a bank. This is composed of both the technological efficiency and technical efficiency. Additionally, technical efficiency can be further decomposed into pre-technical efficiency and scale efficiency.
The methodology applied in the study is quantitative in design. The selection of the top 10 commercial banks from both countries were ranked in terms of assets. The input and output variables needed were sourced from financial statements and annual reports of each bank from the years 2011 to 2018. There were four input variables and three output variables used to generate the total factor productivity. We then analyzed the data using the slack-based model to determine the wastage of inefficient banks and to identify how much of a decrease in inputs or an increase in outputs are needed to make them efficient.
So, to simply explain, how the concept of DEA works is that if a bank has an efficiency score of 1, then it is considered to be efficient in terms of the five indices mentioned before. However, if the score is less than 1, they are considered to be inefficient. The table shows that the mean of the total factor productivity of the 20 banks included in this study. So, total factor productivity pertains to the overall efficiency of the banks. Among the 20 banks, 11 banks get a total factor mean score of 1 during the years 2011 to 2018. This indicates that these 11 banks are efficient during the entire study. There are, however, 9 banks that gained a mean score of less than 1, which means that there was at least one year that these banks were not efficient during the period of the study.
The table above shows the generated average summary efficiency scores of all the banks and a per country mean based on the five Monkeys indices. In terms of TFPCH, 11 banks showed efficient results with 6 Philippine banks and 5 Malaysian banks. In terms of technical and pure technical efficiency, Philippine Bank 6 and Malaysian Bank 4 are the only banks that showed inefficient results. In terms of technological efficiency, 7 banks scored efficiently, 5 from the Philippines and 2 from Malaysia. And in terms of scale efficiency, only Philippine Bank 6 scored inefficiently. Some highlights show that, on a per bank basis, only 3 Philippine banks and 3 Malaysian banks scored efficiently in all of the 5 indices. Malaysia also showed a lower total factor productivity mean score than of the Philippines. Furthermore, it can be observed that both countries showed a higher technical efficiency mean, where both countries showed a similar result of having a 0.3% overall increase than technological efficiency mean. It can also be observed that the increase in technical efficiency is caused by the increase in scale efficiency. Both countries showed relatively similar results in terms of technical, pure technical, and scale efficiency. Lastly, the table on the bottom right shows the slack analysis of the four inefficient banks with their corresponding amount of slacks in their input and output variables to make them efficient.
So, in conclusion, analyzing banking efficiency is significant because it helps banks learn how to be more productive and, in turn, be more profitable in the long run. Our results show that banks which have a higher score in technical efficiency tend to have a higher score of scale efficiency as well.
We also found that Philippines showed a higher overall efficiency than Malaysia. This is brought by the higher technological and technical efficiency scores of the Philippine banks. Overall, the results showed that knowing a bank's inefficiency allows them to change any areas of deficiency. But if a bank is efficient, the institution can look into other activities and products of the bank which they can still improve or change. Thank you, and you can reach us through our contacts below.